Alright guys, like I said, we were going to watch some videos today, so I'm first of all going to check out some videos about the raids, by the way, so Karasan, Mag, and Gruul, and people's reactions to how easy or difficult those raids were, and I'm just going to say, by the way, a lot of people entered these raids with very fake expectations from the public test realm, and for two main reasons, right? Number one, on the PTR, you are given full pre-raid biz by talking to an NPC. That is very unrealistic from what you are probably getting by playing the game. You get way worse gear, you have to compete for the roles, some people never get their trinkets, and also on the public test realm we had broken armor values that we also had in TBC for the first week, but that meant that melees were doing like 2 to 3,000 DPS, by the way, in the PTR, and they now do close to 1,000 only, which is still a good DPS, by the way, but it's not 2 or 3,000. So yeah, this right here is a video by Hello Jate Hello, and we'll see what he has to say on the entire thing.
So, I want to go right into it. Yesterday, me and Hammer, Mr. Hammer Dan, shout out to him, we had our group come together and we cleared Gruul's lair.
I'll give you guys the link in chat right now, by the way, if you want to like watch it as we are watching it live. Or just watch here as well, up to you. I'm just giving you the link.
And we had Jerdy's group as well that was clearing Gruul's lair. We all were going through Gruul's and Mags. And I'm going to tell you this right now, right off the rip, just to get it out there. Straight up, let me get a sip of coffee before I tell you the big information here. Shout out to the coffee enjoyers. Straight up, boys, the PTR was all bullshit.
Yeah, I'm not a coffee enjoyer, but I have my caffeine shake right here, okay? So I'll take a sip of that instead.
Yeah, the PTR straight up was just complete lies. Everything that we saw in the PTR, as you guys already saw with the armor debuffs and everything, and the videos and the information, the weeks over time coming into this, was complete bullshit. Every raid group, majority of them were wiping. And if you weren't bringing the most mid-max comp to maximize your efficiency, maybe on Gruul's you were doing the cleave strat, and you had,
And this is what I said as well, by the way. So many of these pro gamers were advocating for pre-nerf raids, because all they do is play the game 16 hours a day, and they're quote-unquote good at the game, and they play the game so much. For the average person, pre-nerf, post-nerf is already hard enough. Now, most people don't really struggle. Well, like Karasan, for example, my guild, we had multiple runs going, and we did between 1.5 to 3 hour clears, which I would say is pretty much average, like 2 to 3 hours, probably average.
A ton of casters and hunters just blasting damage, then that was your group if you were min-maxing the fuck out of the raid. But for the most part, not everyone's like that. You try to optimize and fill in as much buffs as you can for the raid to fill in the good spots, right? Like maybe get your token arms warrior, get that token 1 rogue, bring that boomkin. But overall, yeah, it was not as easy as everyone said it was going to be. It was definitely difficult. It was more difficult than I thought. And even in its post-nerf state, I started to ask myself the question, I'm kind of happy that they put it in post-nerf, and is it worth staying in post-nerf or going back to pre-nerf? And I think the answer really...
It's really interesting to me, by the way, how did we have the broken armor values on the PTR, and nobody talked about it? Surely somebody out there had to have some idea, right? For me, I'm just gonna say, I'm a content creator, but I had no idea. Number one, I've never been a melee in TBC before in my life, so I had no idea what to expect. The only melee I had in TBC back in the day was a rogue that I leveled through dungeons with rested experience only to stealth farm for gold. I did no content on the rogue back in the day. The only classes I did content on in TBC Classic was a boomkin, holy paladin, and a mage. So like none of those do any sort of physical damage anyway. But I had no idea, right? But many other people play TBC a lot, they raid a lot, they do a bunch of heroic dungeons. Somebody out there had an idea, and nobody said anything. That's crazy to me, by the way.
He is a staying in post-nerf since we are in a 1-year TBC. I had this conversation with a couple friends last night too, and I was like, you know what, man? From all the data that we saw in that PTR, all the armor values being completely wrong, the numbers being completely all over the place, and plus you have to remember, If you were playing that PTR and actually going through the raids, going through the heroic dungeons, you remember you were fully phase 1 Bist with armor
Yeah.
values at 0%. So all the information was completely invalidated, and everybody walked into Gruul's last night and into, Mags, and they got a wake-up call, a taste of reality, so to say. And honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, I think Gruul's was the easier task to get over compared to High King's. And even Mag. I think actually Gruul was the easiest thing out of everything. The
No,
Shatter for me, obviously as a rogue, wasn't really of a big deal because
I think over half of Karazhan was easier than Gruul.
need to deal with using a Cloak of Shadows and avoiding other people being in range, and obviously DBM, the Rangefinder, does not work. So you just gotta look at your targets, look who's next to you, and keep an eye on the field. So that's why the camera's so zoomed out. But outside of that, yeah, Mags was much harder than Gruul's, and High King was definitely a much tougher task, only because we had to have our groups properly organized, have the mage control the one boss, have, the Subjugate Demon on the Warlock. Depending on if you were doing the cleave strat or not, we were able to cleave 2, then we went onto the Summoner, and then, finished up the entire raid. But outside of that, overall, yeah, I definitely think everything that we saw from the PTR, which I was, laughing about once again, was just utter nonsense. And I knew this was going to be somewhat of a challenge, even though it was post-nerf, because at the end of the day, people need to mesh with each other. You have to have people be able to listen to call-outs and actually do the responsibility of handling the tasks that they're meant to handle from the raid call out. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man, not everybody's up there on that top 99 percentile of being like a Chad gamer. A lot of people have much room to improve. It's not easy. It's easier said than done to really accomplishing what you want to do when it comes to these raids. And the big thing for this one is that we're not coming into these raids with 100% full BIS maxed out, phase 1 gear like we had on the PTR. We're coming in here with pre-raid heroic gear. So for all those who said, oh, it's going to be a cakewalk, it's going to be just, a massive layover, and this is going to be easily stomped on, no issues whatsoever, we're 100% incorrect. That's not how it was for the majority of people. Only the top percentile of individuals were able to go in that bitch and actually min-max the hell out of it and clear it out very easily because of their comp, because of having super sweaty, dedicated players, which that is not you guys. You are not the mass majority. Neither am I. I play the game hard, but I don't even consider myself playing it as hard as some of these other individuals do. I've been having fun with the game. I've been doing arenas. I've been having a good time just messing around in 2s. I've been having a good time just playing the raids, and to me, this shit is just fun, man. I'm just looking at this with a point of view where I'm just having...
That right there, by the way, is probably how I'll be gearing my rogue in TBC. But playing a rogue when it comes to doing raids is fine. Heroic dungeons, I feel bad, like nobody wants to invite a rogue anyway. But PvP, you feel like an absolute god. And looking at many of the PvP items, by the way, when you get to the epics, they're really, really good. So for me, that is looking like a very viable way to gear up the rogue and have probably more fun doing so. Like, as a rogue in heroics, by the way, you're more than fine because you have sap, you have blind, you have sheep shot, really? Cheap shot, kidney shot, you have a bunch of things available in your toolkit as a rogue, you have kicks, right? You have a bunch of things that help out your group a lot, but most pugs seem to want a spell cleave, or just as a melee. If you go in on the wrong mob and it has a cleave ability, you're dead. So in heroics it just feels bad to be a rogue or a melee in general. It's definitely okay, and it's playable, and it's alright, but you need to have a group set up for it that plays around CC, does smaller pulls. Everyone just wants spell cleave. So for me as on my rogue, when I'm pugging heroics, I barely ever get any groups. In my guild, I get groups all the time, but pugging as a rogue has been an absolute nightmare. So doing PvP, especially arena, seems like a way more fun method of gearing on the rogue.
A good time with the product and trying to just enjoy myself. What I want to say is this, is that if you're feeling discouraged, if you are not getting through Gruuls, if you're not getting through Max, don't stress yourself out about that, because a lot of people aren't. It's not what the PTR said. Like I said earlier, everything on that thing was a lie. Blizzard knew about this. And I don't understand how they didn't know about this, which is leading to another question that I have. I was talking about this with my chat a couple nights ago about a tinfoil hat theory. I wonder if Blizzard knew about this, about all the armor values during the PTR, and they just gave everybody a week and change to like really sweat it out, and then they nerfed it just to get people to buy the boost again. That's something.
The thing is, I want to believe that, but I honestly think the developers are too stupid and they don't play their own game. So I don't think they had any idea, because I don't think they play the PTR. They put the PTR up and they hope that people play it for them and give them feedback. And I mean, the thing is, the auction house is still broken, so if Blizzard knowingly knows about something and lets it be in the game for them to fix it, why is the auction house still so bad? The realistic answer here is number one, they either have no idea, or number two, they have no idea how to fix it. And for the armor values as well, they probably had absolutely no idea.
Something that I'm very curious about. It's a tinfoil hat theory, but it's not too far stretched if you think about it from a business decision, right? Honestly, touche. Like, that's smart. You get people to reboost another character because their current tune as a melee got hit hard with damage. But to be honest, melee is still doing fine, even in its post.
You know, for the boosting aspects, I can buy that one. Okay, sure. You're using back in.
And you're running in there with pre-raid gear. These numbers that you even see here, like from warriors to rogues, even including myself, and hand shaman, this is completely normal stuff. A lot of even the top rogues I was even seeing, because I play rogue right now at the current moment, a lot of them were doing 1k plus damage even on logs as well. And that's with min-maxed, sweaty, having full waste walker pieces from every single dungeon, perfect comp, and everything is set up correctly. We're going in here with guys that we're just figuring things out, and we're getting to mesh together as a team to provide better future results. That's how you got to do it as a normal raid comp. You know, that's how things get done. But I'm telling you, man, like, even with its post-nerf state and all this, like, you know, mumble-jumble talk that happened, it's still a challenge for a lot of people to get 20 plus individuals on the right page together. To have 25 people be on the same page and mesh together, that's something you can never challenge when it comes to either post-nerf or pre-nerf. It's about team composition, and that in itself is a conversation to have that is difficult to get through. So once the team composition was, you know, correct, the mental mind of everybody just being on the same fucking ball field, the same page of what we were handling with the targets, and I think things will become more smoothly as we continue to progress as a raid team to figure out, all right, what we should, you know, maybe min-max a little bit better in this little area just to sweat a teed bit in this specific position, or how we handle this specific target when it comes to, you know, things getting a little sloppy, or maybe we lost a tank on this fight or so it affected everyone's DPS, but we have to, you know, manage and make those little micro adjustments to the raid so we can make sure we clear the damn thing and move on with our life. Because at that point, numbers go out the window. It's about, you know, clearing and pushing forward with the content. And these are the type of things that, you know, not a lot of people talk about, but that's the reality of the situation when it comes to raiding, especially progging in TBC. That's the raw and gritty stuff that, you know, you see behind the closed doors with your GMs or your officers, or having these conversations with your tanks and healers and DPS to, like, actually manage a smooth, clean run. But yeah, I guess this video is just more of me ranting about, like, you know, my experience so far with doing Gruuls and Mags. I think we're going to be doing Kara on Monday. And I know I haven't been able to shoot videos the past couple days, but I just wanted to get this one out for you guys just to have some, you know, talking points. I know it's a little all over the place, but I really wanted to, like, come out and just say that all this stuff that people have been saying that, okay, this is just going to get ran over content. I understand that. Don't get me wrong. But it wasn't going to be as easy as everyone said it was going to be. And you were going to have wipes. You were going to have deaths. It doesn't matter if it's post-nerf or pre-nerf. It's about having your people make sure they're in line to get the raid done. Are people properly geared? Are people
I do think that for the most people, post-nerf is the perfect difficulty. Right now in Pugs as well, like, people are really overkilling it, by the way, on the Pugs. You have to be full pre-raid best in slot, fully gemmed, fully enchanted, bring consumes, have flasks, have potions. People are super overkilling it for being a post-nerf state for the raids. And if people are doing that for post-nerf, imagine pre-nerf. They're doing this right now to try to avoid wipes and have a smooth run. Pre-nerf would be absolute madness for most of these players. It would be great content for streaming and for making videos and stuff. Like, pre-nerf would be absolutely great. Having guides for every single boss, banging views on those guides, having more wipes, longer streams, more fun stream content, and especially people that are really into raiding as well. Sure, I can believe that it's good for them, but should you really cater to the really hardcore people or players when it comes to what changes you put in? I think for pre-nerf, it is the very vocal 5% who wants pre-nerf because all they do in the game is raid, 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 and raid, and they're pretty good at the game as well. Meanwhile, the non-vocal 95%, that's who you should cater to. The casuals, the people who just play the game 1 or 2 or 3 hours a day. The people who, the majority of the people, basically, who just play the game. They are who they should cater to here. I think once again the perfect thing would be to have an option like a button press, an NPC at the start you talk to alternate the difficulty to have either pre-nerf or post-nerf, and have an incentive to do pre-nerf as well. But that requires development, and it's also a change, and people right now are really anti-change in TBC. So some people are really anti that as well. But I just don't know. I don't know, man. I think if they have to make a choice, post-nerf to me makes way more sense than pre-nerf, and I'm happy about where things are. Because even in post-nerf, people are really, really overkilling the requirements. Full best in slot, full enchants, full gems. I would hate to see what this is like in pre-nerf. And pugging right now is already hard. So imagine pugging pre-nerf, man. Pre-nerf would be great for guilds that are good at the game and have a solid roster for their raid as well. But for pugging, pre-nerf would be absolutely trash.
Actually prepared, right? And it's more of a people thing than it is versus the post nerf or pre nerf and doing the mechanics correctly. And I'll tell you this right now, if this was pre nerf, people would be having a much harder time. It
Oh,
would
yeah.
not be as easy as you amigos think. And I think you understand if you've seen what pre nerf TBC looked like and how hard this content actually was versus what it is now. I think for a year fast TBC, it makes sense why it's post-nerf, since we're not going to have TBC for that long. It's going to be gone quicker than you guys think. And then eventually we'll go to either RAF or who knows what the hell is next, Classic Plus. I have no idea. But listen, this is all I want to tell you guys.
It's gonna be Classic Plus, by the way. I'm almost guaranteeing it.
We cleared it last night. If you guys have cleared it, let me know your thoughts below. What do you guys think about Gruuls and Mags? We're going to be doing Karazhan on Monday, and I'm looking forward to giving you guys a follow update from there. In the meantime, I'm streaming. I'm having fun right now, so I apologize for the lack of videos. I'll try to get out more shorts and clips here and there, and then, you know, we'll just continue with entertaining everybody on Twitch and YouTube. So much love to you. I'll catch you on the next one, and peace out, bitch. I never know how to end these videos. I'm going to go sip my coffee, and then I'm going to stream laters. Goodbye.
Oh yeah, dude. I love those outros he's doing, man. They're so good. I fully agree, by the way, with everything he's been saying here. Post-nerf is already hard enough for most people. Pre-nerf would be great for a very, very specific amount of people in the game, but they really want pre-nerf, and it would be great for them, and it would be great content, but I think for the majority of people, post-nerf just makes way more sense, you know?